it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Look who they left large and in charge. Thomas Powell and yours truly, Tim May, here on the Buckeye Show. And a lot of changes going on in and around 97.1 The Fan, I guess, when they pair me and you together. But that's always a good thing, isn't it, Tyvis?
Yeah, it is. We always going to have a good time. The one thing about us is that we are two people that are very passionate about the Buckeyes, and we got a lot of thoughts. We just get a good topic, and we can talk with the best of them.
We're passionate about football, too, college football, whatever you want to call it. It's the great sport out there, and it's really funny because whenever I'm putting this seat right here, it reminds me of what my big dream is, to be sitting on an airliner one time, and some reason or another, is there anybody who can fly an airplane? Could he please come forward? That would be me. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I think I'd feel more comfortable landing a 737 than I would landing this thing. But, we'll see how it goes, right? You know. Hey, I haven't talked to you since the spring game, man. Since you revealed you were 6'3", 250. I want to see proof of that because I've been on a diet. I've got down from 213 to 200, 199 to 201 now.
You need to tell me what your diet is, because I can't seem to get something that works.
It's the word fast, and it does work, man, if you do it right. But
are you intermittent fasting, like you were eating at like 11 to 6 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I got into this. I did two 24-hour fasts, but you got to get into eating
24-hour.
You got to get into eating that visceral fat. You know what I mean?
So wait a minute. When you say 24-hour fast, like are you
not in a row?
You just drinking water?
Yeah, just drinking water and coffee
all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's impossible.
Oh yeah, no, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it because my son, my middle kid, my son Corey's wedding's coming up in July, and I just got to get rid of the gut. You know what I'm talking about, man.
Well, I need to.
71 years old. You know,
I'm about to start doing more sit-ups, planks, and things like that. So
that's what I want to get into. Is not me, it's you. I mean, you don't weigh 250. There's no way you weigh 250.
252 after this morning.
252, and there you are eating that little bag of gummies right there.
Well, why does everybody do this?
But the only reason I bring it up,
I have you know that I had a nice salad for lunch today.
Yeah, so did I, but I'm not going to have anything else. No, I'm just joking. But then I heard you talking about your big stuffed burrito that you have once, I think, every Tuesday and things like that. And I started, as I'm driving in, I'm thinking, I can help this man. I can help this man with a little bit of counseling.
Chipotle is a healthy fast food choice. I'm just throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, cows can get fat on grass. I don't know if you know that or not. So if you eat enough grass, you can get fat. So but the bottom line is, I mean, number one, I don't believe the weight, but number two, you carry it well. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I consider you a friend in the business now.
I appreciate that.
You brought up something interesting as we prepared for this show, and that was which coordinator at Ohio State, coming out of that spring game especially, which one's under more pressure going into 2025 season? Matt Patricia, the new kid on the block, or Brian Hartline, the kid who's moved into the bigger house on the block from the smaller house?
This is.
I want to get your take on that, and I'll give you mine.
This is such a fascinating question. Like I've been going back and forth on it ever since I brought it up to you. And at first I was gonna say Matt Patricia because it's like he's got a number one defense that he's got to try to get back to. He's got a lot of guys that he lost.
8 starters have left. Go ahead.
But I think I'm leaning more towards Brian Hartline because of the fact that Hartline has been a guy who they've looked at as a guy that they wanted to be a coordinator for a while. It was, you talk about, go back to the spring before they hired Chip Kelly, he was supposed to be the play caller.
Correct.
And obviously they didn't feel comfortable with it, so they ended up hiring Bill O'Brien. Then he left, then it became Chip Kelly. And now that he's getting this opportunity, to me, it's at a time where, like, you got a lot of young guys there, so you have that, but if the offense doesn't look productive like it's supposed to, is he a guy that they're going to continue to let be the play caller?
Yeah.
So I think it's Brian Hartline for that. If Matt Patricia, I think he's going to have a good – even if he doesn't, like, he could be like a Chip Kelly. He could do 1 year here and, boom, take off to the NFL, to where Brian Hartline is trying to work his way into being a good OC, then probably becoming a head coach somewhere. So it's a big year for him.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big year for him, and he talked about it earlier during the spring about how he's basically, I'm paraphrasing here, he's much better prepared for it than he was 2 years ago. And number two, he had an antsy head coach then named Ryan Day, who also didn't feel comfortable letting go those reins of calling plays, and that's tough to walk away from. But now he's had a year to wean away from it, and I think that benefits Brian going forward, because I think Brian is definitely capable of it. I mean, there are guys who've been in their early 30s who've been head coaches and stuff and have been fairly successful, like Lincoln Riley. But the bottom line is, I think he's definitely prepared for it, and we all know this isn't. Chip Kelly maybe was a little bit more like this. The what do you call it? Traditional offensive coordinator, kind of designed everything and then ran it. But I've gotten to sit in on a couple of meetings, offensive staff meetings before, and it's a conglomeration of ideas and things. And Ryan Day has touched on that. You're not just like Brian Hartline walking in every day with this new set of plays and telling everybody to learn them. I mean, it's they get together and they pound those things out. Personally, I think he's got a really nice tailor-made situation, because I haven't seen the offensive line room this deep in a long time.
Yep.
Maybe ever covering Ohio State football. I'm talking about if guys competent to play. They still have the weapons. They've got the number one weapon in college football in Jeremiah Smith. They've got 2 or 3 running backs. Definitely, C.J. Donaldson showed you a lot in the spring. Jace Peoples, I think, still is probably going to be the, quote, starter, but they're going to play 2 guys there. Mm-hmm. But they got a guy named Bo Jackson. Are you kidding me?
He's nice.
Dude, he's got the name and the game.
He's one of those guys that I'm excited to see. I know they got to find a way. He's probably one that you got to create some type of packages for him, a package of plays, just to allow him to get on the field, because I think he's so explosive that defenses will be scared of him. So, let him be playmakers. You can never have too many playmakers on offense. Everybody's going to key into Jeremiah Smith. Everybody's going to key into all of those wide receivers. What is that running back room and Max Clare going to bring to the table? Yeah. Make it easier. The best thing for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, is having a good run game and guys that he can just dump it off to that can make things happen. And Bo Jackson definitely fits that.
Yeah. So what I'm getting around to is, I think there's more pressure on Matt Patricia, because he's been in the NFL. Ryan Day hired him. He's been a head coach in the NFL. He's been an incredibly successful defensive coordinator. But the reason I'm saying pressure is Ohio State was number one in all the major categories that mattered, in defense. Mm-hmm. Now you're following that up. Yep. Well, like I said, 8 new members in that starting cast, that starting lineup. And depth-wise, we saw – they're definitely in the market for a defensive tackle or 2. Mm-hmm. Might get another edge guy, but the defensive front is nowhere near what it was this time a year ago as you're preparing. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on trying to make some things happen with pieces. You don't have the same pieces, much less the same players. And I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on that defensive staff in general, and on Patricia in particular, because he's good about putting players in position to make plays. But and obviously the spring game was not set up to be a showcase for the defense.
Very vanilla.
Did they blitz at all?
That spring game, they was trying to give the quarterbacks as many opportunities as they can. They
look good.
Yeah, so there was a lot of RPOs, quick passes, and things like that, because they wanted to get the ball out. They didn't want the D-line to play factor in it. They wanted to have a game inside the stadium with fans there to see which quarterback can handle going through the game day, taking the play call, taking it to the field, getting guys in, getting the ball out of your hands. They set it up perfectly just for us to get a true glimpse of what these guys can do. So, and they didn't want the D-line to play a part of that. So,
correct.
The D-line, I know people are like, up in arms about, I don't know if they're going to be good, but I think they'll be fine.
Well, you know what, though, when the head coach mentions it, that's when you start wondering, because, why would a head coach even mention if it's not bothering him, or they just on his line? By the way, when do we go to the break? When do we go to our first break? 14?
Right now.
Yeah. But because we're going to come back and we're going to talk, you and I are going to talk about who we think has a chance to really step up and step out this season based on what we found out in the spring for Ohio State football, which has a chance to be the number 1, number 2 team in the preseason rankings. But this is Tim May along with Tyvis Powell on the Buckeye Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Goes to
Rothman and Ice has been named the best midday show in the country by our industry peers.
A winner if ever there was one.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Also, Common Man and T-Bone has been named best show at sucking. The Fan.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather
from the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Windy and warm, and temperatures around 80 degrees on this Friday. Overnight, we'll keep it mild, down to the low to mid-60s, with a chance of a shower by Saturday morning. Also, a rumble of thunder early in the day, and an isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon. Otherwise, your Saturday is mostly cloudy and dry, with temperatures in the mid-70s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Using the Buckeye hookup to play golf at Scarlet whenever we can. This is the Buckeye Show.
Tyvis, we're back. We're back. I'm very much looking forward to this segment because as I was getting fired up about getting into the break a minute ago, I said the wrong thing. I want to talk about Buckeyes going out in this draft. Who do you think, and then I'll give who I think, could have the biggest impact, immediate impact is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
As we prep for this, who could have the biggest immediate impact in the National Football League? And I'm thinking I know who you're going to say, but I want you to go first. Go ahead.
Well, the easiest and obvious answer is Emeka.
Yes.
That's the easiest. So I wasn't going to go there because I think that's just too easy, too much of a layup.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I wanted to get to a more sophisticated,
esoteric,
tougher answer. So I was going to go with Josh Simmons. That's probably the one because left tackle is a really big, important position. And I think that obviously we didn't get to see a full season of him last year because he got hurt. But I do believe that he's going to go probably in the first round of this draft. All signs say that he's probably going to go in the first round of this draft. And he's going to, wherever he goes, he's going to go up against some really good edge rushers. And I think he has to play well. He has to have that immediate impact because teams want to run behind him and they want him to keep the quarterback's jersey clean. And I think he's got all the tangibles to do those things. So I think that impact alone, protecting the quarterback, the most important person, is the most impact you could have on the team.
Hey, let me ask you this, though, because it's interesting to me because when you take a left tackle, when you take a tackle in the first round, he's going to play.
Yes.
I mean,
right now.
He's going to play right now.
This is right now.
But do you think he's, considering the injury he had, do you think he's going to be totally ready to play? I mean, what's your...
Yeah, I do, because I think that this is, first of all, ACL injuries is different than what it was back in 1999. The medicine is better, the recovery is better, and I think he's young, so his body's going to probably respond at a quicker pace. I think that he'll be ready to go. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, with him in the preseason. Does he take a lot of reps in the preseason games or not? But I would imagine by then, because his injury was it was early. It was in the Oregon game, which was in October. So that would check out that he would be pretty much ready to go by August.
9 months removed from it. Yeah.
So
also heard he had patellar implications also in that injury, patellar tendon, which, takes a little bit longer sometimes. As a doctor explained to me, it's like when you open it, it's like looking at spaghetti. You know what I mean? When you're, as opposed to your regular tendons, or ligaments. But I'm curious about it, man. Do you think he's worthy of a first-round pick? I definitely do, based on everything I've read. And when you go back and watch his video, the
only knock on him was he used to get a penalty. That was about it. But when he played the game clean, he was one of the highest graded tackles in the country.
Yes.
And before he got hurt, he was phenomenal. He was exceptional. You think about the Oregon game, before he got hurt, they were gashing Oregon to the left side between him and Donovan Jackson, those two right in that B gap.
Yep.
And once he went down, they couldn't run the ball at all. It was done.
Right.
So to me, he showed his value right there. They had to, obviously, Donovan Jackson pushed out and they became a really good team again. But in that moment that they lost Josh Simmons, they couldn't figure out what to do on that side for that game.
And they still came within a point of tying or winning that football game, which is crazy when you think about losing a guy like that in a game of that magnitude. And, they lose Seth McLaughlin, the Remington Award winner, and go on and win the national championship. Are you kidding me, Tyvis?
Yeah.
You've never seen anything like that, have you?
I've seen something.
You saw a team lose its starting quarterback, But we're talking about a team that supposedly was bereft of depth in the offensive line room, and those guys stepped up and played well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think Seth McLaughlin down the road is going to be on a team for a long time at center.
Yeah.
He's obviously coming back from that Achilles tendon or that Achilles tear, and still isn't 100%. So I think someone will take him in the draft, but a guy I've got my eye on, and I think people are just overlooking him. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. Is Lathan Ransom.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way that guy plays.
Yeah.
I think he's a very smart football player. He and Caleb Downs conspired on the second largest play of the win over Texas, which was that second down toss where Caleb comes up and the guy stiff arms in it, but Lathan comes in and finishes him off for 7-8 yard loss. That was ridiculous play, but I think he's got a lot of savvy to him, for want of another term. Some people have questioned his speed. What's your take on that?
No, I think he's it's funny that you asked me this. So when I was doing the sideline stuff for the spring game, he was down there and we talked, and he was telling me about how he was dealing with like a groin type injury, and when he went and did his pro day, he was still like tight, like it was very tight. But at that point, everybody wanted a time on him. They wanted him to do stuff. So he said he just pushed through it, and he said he ran like a 4.5. But he said, Tyvis, I'm telling you, easily I run a 4.4. Like it's night and day, and to run a 4.5 with the groin injury, he showed me like the picture of what his leg looked like and everything, how it was swole up and changed colors and all these things. To do that and run a 4.5, like he's fast enough. Like that tells me when you're healthy, you're probably a 4.4, maybe 4.3 guy. So I don't question his speed at all. I mean, he's got the toughness. The only thing that I've ever questioned with Latham was his ability to cover wide receivers, man to man. Mm-hmm. And in the NFL, that's going to be a big thing. Unless they just put him as the free safety where he's in the post and he's just running sideline to sideline, which he is really good at doing. Mm-hmm. He could do those things, but there's going to be teams that's going to motion and shift and try to get him to play man to man. And he's got to be able to check some of these wide receivers or tight ends. Yeah. And if he could do that guy can play in the league for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you just said because I just called him my sleeper guy to look out for him. But will he be an immediate impact guy? You have to have some opportunity because he's not going to get taken. What?
No, he'll go probably like fourth, something like that. Yeah. I would think that he's one of those guys who's going to be on special teams early on. He has to make his impact special teams wise, and as the preseason goes and as camp goes, he's got to continue to make plays and show them that he can make plays on defense. And if somebody gets hurt, I think he'll be the first guy that'll jump in there and make plays. Yeah, and he reminds me so much of like a Jordan Fuller. Jordan Fuller was a guy that, he was a very athletic safety, but smart, very smart, understood the game of football. He get an opportunity with the Rams, and he really shined in those moments. And I think Latham will have a similar path.
Yeah, I was going to say, the great line that Jim Knowles had for Latham was he could see the forest for the trees, meaning he could see what's going on behind there, what you're up to and stuff. And not every football player has that acumen. I know you did, right?
I was more smarter than athletic on it when it came to, I could do things, but I was big on my preparation. I wanted to know what was going to happen before the play. I wanted to have a great idea of what you were about to do, so therefore I can beat the person that I'm checking to the spot because I know what you're running.
Do the pros look at that? Does the NFL look at that when they're getting ready for a draft, when they're getting ready to get a guy? How do they look at that? In other words, you can see how fast a guy can run. You can watch video of what he's doing on the field, but how deep can they get into your brain to know whether you can process? That's the key word these days anyway, but process like that.
So what they usually do is when you do these meetings with these coaches and stuff, they come maybe at the combine, you have a formal meeting with them, or when they come work you out, you have a meeting, they bring you in the defensive meeting room, put you on the board and watch tape and things like that with you. Yeah. I remember when I was doing, when I was at the combine, I had a meeting with the Denver Broncos, and they wanted to know, it was the play, my interception against Virginia Tech. They was like, walk me through it. How did you, because they said you kind of like read this whole thing. You knew exactly what was happening. So tell us what it was that gave it away and things like that. So they ask you to kind of walk them through your processes. So I had told them, I studied this through the week, that if they came out in this formation, the only pass play that they had, and us being a quarters team, they was going to run a quarters beater. They was going to run a dig with the post behind them. And when they came out in this formation, I kind of figured like, all right, they're about to take a shot because of the down in the distance. Yeah. And I kind of just jumped the play. And it was like, oh, okay, that shows that you're smart. You understand, you studied the game and things like that. So that's kind of how they pick your brain on that type of thing.
Yeah, just like that pick at the goal line against Michigan. I'm whispering because Michigan fans don't like to hear about those games. Well, they lost to Ohio State.
That's their own fault. Anybody that comes out when you come out in the formation and the team calls timeout and you come out and run the exact same play that you was going to run, like that was dumb.
Exactly, but it's still uncanny that you figured it out, and knew it and knew where to be, etc. By the way, did you keep that football from the Virginia Tech game?
No.
Okay.
I don't have that.
Your poor mom, she's only got 2 footballs?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like I said, I remind people of that all the time because, number one, how cool it was for you to think in the moment of keeping the football. And but number two, those two, they represent such huge plays in Ohio State football history.
The first one, the Team Up North one, is so funny because it was like once I caught it, like I never let it go.
Yeah,
like I just kept the ball, and I didn't know if you could do that or not. But
did the ball boy come and try to get it from you?
No, not that one. So the Alabama game, that one, and he did walk up to me, and I told him, "Your season over. You don't need this no more. I'm keeping this." So that was how that one went.
I think you're switching brands next year anyway. You know. By the way, are they both Nike balls? I never asked you that.
I'm pretty sure. I know one for sure is I can't remember what the Team Up North one. It might be Wilson, but I think it might be Nike too.
That's pretty funny though, man. I give you so much credit for that. You know, we're going to come back and we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to have Luke Fedlam on, an attorney I've known for quite a while now, one of my favorite people. But you know, in the wake of this Tennessee madness that's going on with their quarterback Nico Iamaleava. You can pronounce it 8 different ways. It really sounds more like I'm a leaving, Nico. I'm a leaving. But we're going to get a little deep more about are we seeing an inflection point in this transfer portal NIL realm? We'll be back in just a moment here on the Buckeye Show on 97.1 The Fan.
When your sump pump is no longer sumping and pumping, please don't become a sump pump grump.
A sump pump grump thinks whacking the pump will make it start working again.
But it never does.
Get ECO.
ECO. A sump pump grump will let a faulty sump pump completely ruin a perfectly good day.
Fortunately, I've invented a solution.
No more sump pump grump?
No more sump pump grump.
Get ECO.
ECO. Tell me about it, Jerry.
The solution is that you get ECO to do a sump pump inspection.
What would that include?
We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
How much?
That's up to you, Aaron.
Jerry, ECO would be happy to do that for just $89.
That's a great price.
Get ECO.
ECO. ECO plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All Buckeyes all the time. You're welcome. This is the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Welcome back. This is Tim May along with Tyvis Powell on the Buckeye Show here on 97.1 The Fan. And it is always my distinct honor to introduce my next guest. He's been on my podcast several times, and the Tim May Show, and he's incredibly intelligent. Just ask him. Luke Fedlam, attorney at law, but basically expert on NIL, transfer portal, perfect storm situations. Luke, welcome to the Buckeye Show, my man.
Hey, Tim, Tyvis, thanks so much for having me.
Hey, I tried to introduce you as best I could about you being very smart, just ask you, but you are an attorney, so you know how that goes. I wanted to ask you this, man. You know I wanted you on here. I mean, this whole Nico Iamaleava situation out of Tennessee, $2.2 million is not enough, according to his handlers, his dad, whatever you want to call it. He decides to jump ship, and instead of jumping on another ship, I think he still might be in the water, if I'm not mistaken. But the offers haven't come fast and furious for him from the standpoint of a larger amount of money. And I'm just wondering, you're sitting there, you're an expert on this situation, this stuff now, Luke. What's your take?
Yeah, well, I think a couple things. One, it's very challenging right, without knowing the specific particulars of his situation, not being a part of the conversations, it's hard to just kind of cast judgment, number one, and we'll talk about what that means here in a little bit. Number two, I would say this is the new world of college sports. We've seen holdouts in the professional level before, but we also know that there is a process that's been collectively bargained for in terms of free agency, in terms of contract negotiation, et cetera. And we have none of that in college sports. And so the only recourse that a student athlete has in some respects, if they potentially were promised more, right, or had opportunity out there, we're going to see more and more student athletes that are going to probably resort to holding out, sitting out, waiting, because that's all they have in terms of trying to pressure the other side for, more money or for a different deal.
Luke, I'm curious, a lot of these guys that we see are getting deals that may be 4-year deals, some are 2-year deals. What is your take on that? Do you think that that these universities should stick to 1-year deals? Or if you had a client that was a player, would you advise him to take the 4-year deal, or would you advise him to take the 1-year deals?
So oftentimes I would lean more towards the 1-year deals. And I think the 1-year deals protect kind of everyone involved in different ways. And when we think about the university, so what's happening right now? Oftentimes when we see some of these new deals, and I'm talking about even the deals before Nico's deal, the deals that have come since then, we're seeing a lot more of if it's a multi-year deal, that there are what we call liquidated damages or other types of financial penalties if someone were to break that deal. I think that when you have a 1-year deal, it gives everyone the opportunity to kind of bet on themselves, right? To bet that, hey, I had a 1-year deal. I did great. I performed well, and let's see what this next year brings, whether that next year brings me coming back to this, staying at this particular institution, or even going somewhere else, potentially for more money. But I do want to touch on one piece for the Nico situation, because there's been a lot of judgment and a lot of media reports about this is everything we don't like about college sports, and now we have a player that has, a couple $1 million, and that's not enough. Well, one of the things I think we have to remember is there are a lot of adults, a lot of professionals around these young athletes and their families who are trying to navigate this space for themselves. And these adults in the room, if you will, and oftentimes have promised things to players. Promised, oh, don't worry, get through this year. You got us to the college football playoff. You did these things. We're going to take care of you. We're going to give you more. I mean, we could look back at the Jaden Rashada case, right? Mm-hmm. The young quarterback now, right, had an offer for $13 million at University of Florida that was promised to him. He gets on campus, and it never materialized. Mm-hmm. And so then we're quick to blame the student athlete, like that's all that's wrong with the sport right now. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who are making promises to these young people and their families, and they're not coming through with those. And so it leaves, puts a student athlete in a situation like, well, if I believed that you were going to do this and then now you're not doing it, now I'm in a tough spot.
Yeah. But so, what is the recourse? Like Matthew Sluka was the kid from UNLV, transferred to UNLV and was promised, like he said, I can't remember the exact amount of money. I think it was $100,000. It wasn't very much.
$100,000. Yep.
Yeah, you got to figure more than that goes through on a high stakes poker table every day down there. But but the bottom line is they didn't come through with it one way or the other. Now he's at James Madison, but he quit a couple of games, or maybe it was one game into the season last year. And I don't know. Do you think we're going to see more of that? What's your take on that, Luke?
Yeah, I think we'll see less of that and more of the Nico situation. Mm-hmm. I think we'll see less of student athletes that start the season and just leave. That part is a bit extreme. I think that we would see before, in that situation, we could have seen him hold out instead of playing. I'm not going to play until this happens or until you come through with what you promised me, which is ultimately, kind of Nico in terms of holding out. And institutions are going to have to figure out how they deal with that. I think we'll see more potential holdouts. And you think about all the different points in time when that can happen. When the portal is open, right? So leading up to that, we could see that happen before the season starts. We could see that happen. So I think we'll see more of the potential holdouts unless we ultimately get to a place where we have some real definition around what the business of this college sports situation is going to look like.
Luke, what do you think do you think that there will ever be like a cap on NIL? You know, obviously we see these big deals being negotiated with, you know, $4 million, $10 million. Do you think there'll ever be a time where, you know, they'll say, you know what, the biggest deal that you can get is $1 million or $2 million? Do you think that's going to happen?
I really don't. I really don't think that we're going to see a cap on name, image, and likeness, because at the college level, well, let me take that back. The only way I think we would see a cap is if there ends up being unionization and collectively bargained for. If that's collectively bargained for, then I think we may see that. But right now, with the kind of this open market that we have, when we look at the court cases that have come out there, I really don't see a cap on the earning potential for a student athlete. Now, this proposed House settlement, we're waiting for Judge Wilkin in the Northern District of California to come back out with her ruling, either approving or rejecting that House settlement. That House settlement includes in that, in addition to the back pay for previous student athletes, it includes that permissive revenue share. And that revenue share going forward is kind of a cap at $20.5 million that schools who are Power 5 schools or schools that opt into this settlement, that they'll be capped at in terms of what they are doing as revenue share for student athletes. But that's not going to stop student athletes from getting other NIL deals and other opportunities to earn compensation beyond what the school is paying. I really don't see a cap coming unless we get to the place where there's, you know, collective bargaining and there's an overall cap for the sport, in particular of college football.
You know, Luke, you brought up that settlement. Is there any way that we could get that thing pushed back to 2015 so I can get a little piece of that?
You are not the only one, my brother, that's asking for that, because, you know, we're actually seeing lawsuits of student athletes that are prior to 2016 for similar reasons. And it's not even just the biggest names. We're seeing the 1983 men's basketball team at NC State, right? That clip is shown every year of March Madness when NC State, the guy shoots a three, comes up short, the other guy catches it, puts it in. Jim Valvano is running across the court, right? Yeah. They won the championship. That clip is shown every year, and the 10 players of that team that are still alive have sued because of that, right? Because they never gave up the rights to their name, image, and likeness to the conference, to the TV studios, et cetera. So your question is very very common in the space of athletes prior to 2016, for sure.
Look, we only got about a minute left. I did want to ask you this, though. What the thing that sets the Iamaleava thing apart for me, though, is he had agreed to a certain amount and then wanted to renegotiate, almost like an NFL player, before his contract comes up the next year and stuff. And you know, how would you counsel him in that kind of situation? You know, why do you think you're now worth this? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So real quick, this is a conversation I have with clients every day, right? And you have to decide, and you have to understand kind of how is this client motivated. There are some athletes. I just sat with a basketball player today who literally has an offer from another school for more, but wants to stay at a particular school because he's made the commitment. And that's just who he is, and that's the family around him. Everybody's different. People's motivations are different. So when I counsel clients, I try to understand their motivations, but I also try to help them understand the legal side of things, which is when you sign a contract and that's what the contract's for, it doesn't give you the leverage to then just say, well, just because this other quarterback transferred and got this much that all of a sudden I should now get more.
Right.
But I always hold off, though, and reserve judgment, because I know that there are a lot of things being promised by donors and others to these student athletes that if someone then relied on a promise and then that didn't come through, that can start to really sour a relationship quickly if you're not getting the support you think you should get.
Yeah, like you said, there's more to this than just the mess, you know? There's the stuff that led up to the mess. And, hey, Luke, you know how much I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you coming on with us.
Hey, Tim, Tyvis, thanks, guys, so much for having me. Thanks for all you do.
All right, you got it, man. And we're going to be back, Tyvis and I are talking a little bit of Power 5 football here in a moment when we get back on here on the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends, and my friends at Germain Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special APRs as low as 3.99% up to 48 months or 4.49% up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through April 30th, get 4.99 APR financing on a rugged new 25 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trailhunter. Or lease a well-equipped TRD Sport for $369 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Common Man and T-Bone.
And I'm here for suckle.
You're here to suckle the cheetah.
I'm here to suckle the cheetah.
To suckle the cheetahs.
Common Man here.
Sex the wolf puppies.
For suckling.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring champions of faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring champions of faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Because there's nothing better to do on a Friday night, let's just rank 5 things. It's the Buckeye Show's Power 5.
We're in the ranking business, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And business is a booming. Isn't that right, Tyvis?
Business is always booming.
This is one of those regular things I wasn't totally aware of that goes on the Buckeye Show. Now, even though I've been on it a few times, but where you just rank.
It's a Friday thing.
Your 5 things, on a Friday.
Anything you want, you can rank. For me, I decided, I spend a lot of time being positive. So today I wanted to put some light on the negative things that's happened to me. So I went with the 5 worst plays that happened to me while playing the game of football.
I'm with you.
It's hard for me to say this, but these 5 things happened to me. So we're going to start with number 5. Number 5 was getting hurdled by Saquon Barkley. That one hurt because that was the first time where I said, ain't no way that this will ever happen to me, and then it happened to me. So it was very humbling. So that was number 5. Plus, Saquon is unbelievable. Everybody talks about me getting hurdled, but nobody talks about how Joey got broke down on the play.
Yeah.
So that's, yes, I'm throwing Joey under the bus. Number 4 was losing leverage on Tevin Coleman in the Indiana game in 2014.
He was fast.
Yeah, the thing is, I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was that fast. And I should have just. It's probably one of the plays that I think about a lot, where it's like I should have just went ahead and just shot his outside leg and sent him back inside, and he would have never scored. Like it was literally that simple. If I just would have ran and shot to his outside leg, it wouldn't have been a play.
It never ceases to amaze me. I look at a football field when I'm down on the football field and how you guys ever tackle anybody in that wide open expanse.
The open field tackling is very difficult.
Yes.
That's why I have so much respect for Caleb Downs, because he rarely misses those.
Unbelievable. Go ahead.
Number 3, go to the NFL now. I dropped my only chance at getting an interception in a regular season game. I dropped it.
Where and when? I
was playing for San Francisco. We was playing Oakland. This was the last year Oakland was going to be in Oakland. We played them at Levi Stadium, so in San Francisco, and Derek Carr was quarterback. And this is a shame. So before the game,
shame.
I knew I was going to start. So it was a Thursday night game. We had just played the Cardinals Sunday. I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to prepare for this game, and I knew I would be the starting safety. So, I'm looking at the running back, and as I'm watching tape, I'm talking about like I watch tape all day.
Yeah.
As I'm watching tape, I'm like, this Rashad guy, I can't remember, I think his name is Jalen Rashad. This guy, every time he comes out the backfield on a route, he goes out. It's always an outward breaking route every time.
Yeah.
So we get to the game and they call the call where I got the running back. I'm the box safety, but I got the running back on this play. And he comes out the backfield and he gives me a little shake like he going inside, but I think to myself, no, you're going outside. And he goes outside. I break on it perfectly. Derek Carr throws the ball. I lay out for it. The ball bounces off of my hand, and the Rashad running back catches the ball and gets like a 20-yard gain. I was kicking myself. So that was like the best play they had. The Raiders were terrible. That was like the biggest play of the game for them.
Wow.
So that was number 3.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm shaking and I'm a bacon. I mean, that's where you were missing the bacon part there. Go ahead, man.
So number two was something that happened to me that nobody talks about it. I don't know if people even noticed it, but I did.
Maybe they do in hushed tones at cocktail parties. Go ahead.
So when we was playing the team up north in 2015, and that was the first time in my life, if I can remember correctly, in my life that I got ran over in a game. The first time. It's like the one and only time I got ran over. This running back, what is it? Smith. I can't remember. It's Davion Smith.
Well, he ran over. You couldn't get his tag number. Go ahead.
So they threw a screen pass to this man, and I'm chasing the tight end up the field. I got Jake Butt. I'm chasing Jake up the field, and when I turn around, he's like 2 steps away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, snap. So I turn around, try to run and try to get some momentum. I had no momentum.
Get some form.
He ran straight through me. And I tried to grab a jersey, nothing. It was just like grabbing the air. And it was like the first time that I was like, wow, he got me. Now, the thing about it is, if you play this game long enough, it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen. So that's number 2 for me. And then number 1, the worst play that ever happened to me.
He's pounding the table on this one.
This is a shame. It's such a shame because you know how you like a feel good story.
Yeah,
like you have a moment where you got some momentum. Well, the momentum just got completely taken away. So we was playing the Cardinals. We playing the Arizona Cardinals in 2018 maybe 2018, and I was the third string safety. Actually, I was supposed to play corner that game, but both of our starting safeties got hurt. So they said, Tyvis, you got to go play safety. We ain't got nobody. You got to play safety. So I ain't practiced safety all week, but I know safety because I've done it before.
Yeah.
So we get in the game. I force a turnover. I force a fumble. We get it. It's like 2 minutes left in the game. So I'm like, oh, that's game. You know, the offense going to go up there, get a first down, ball game.
Yeah.
Offense go 3 and out. So I'm like, all right, we got to get back out there. They're marching down the field. And I'm like, oh, man, we can't let them score. So, one of the last plays, I think we had like 40 seconds left. They scored like 40 seconds left. This is what happened. They ran it came out a 2x2 in the red zone. My responsibility was to look at number 1. Your eyes look at number 1. If he goes inside, that's who you take because the corner's going to stay right in front of him. And if he goes inside the corner, that's your man. If he go outside the corner, you take number 2. Yeah. Your eyes go back to 2.
Yeah.
I forgot that in that moment. I forgot to look at that moment. So I didn't even look at number 1. I seen number 2 go out, and I was like, oh, snap, where number 1 at? And I turn around. He's running the back of the end zone. And Josh Rosen hit Christian Kirk for a game winner on me to beat us, and it was the worst thing that happened. I was like, well, my NFL career is over in this moment. And then luckily I got to play another. I started the week after that. So, but that's the one that to this day, like I think about that play probably like 3 times a week.
So you gave up one of the very few Josh Rosen NFL touchdown
Correct.
passes.
That's why you'll never ever hear me say anything negative about Josh Rosen or Christian Kirk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mind game. It always has been a mind game. That's what separates the guys. We were talking about that as the Buckeyes get ready for the draft. I mean, how do you know how a guy can process until he has to do it? And then sometimes guys can be the smartest guys out there and take the wrong cue. Isn't that right, Tyvis?
It's a game of inches. If you just one wrong step, your eyes in the wrong spot, that's all it takes.
That's what these guys are going to have to get used to, too. I mean, in college,
you can get away with it.
The level Ohio State plays at, it's a pretty good mind game, but it goes up a notch in the National Football League. And then you have guys that, when they get that edge in the mind game, can then execute the physical part of it, right? And that's what really separates.
Yeah, in the NFL, it's literally about how you have to be perfect. And what's going to happen is these coordinators is going to put cheese in front of your face. They're going to make you take things that you necessarily you shouldn't take to get you to step up. All we need you to do is step up one step, and we're going to throw this ball right behind you. Like, it's so little. It's the littlest details that you got to be focused on. And if you can continue to be disciplined and do the right things, you could play for a long time, but it's hard.
Yeah, you know how, your dad or your mentor, whoever you're growing up with, way back when, they're always telling me, read the fine print, And the NFL lives in the fine print.
Yes,
kind of like auto racing lives in the gray area, what the rules don't say, not what they do say and stuff. And, hey, real quick before we have a break here, I wanted to ask you one other quickie because we don't have time for my top 5 because it would take 20 minutes. I did want to ask you this. We were talking about, guys who could come out. Who's a guy that you think from Ohio State, from the upper echelon of those guys going into this draft, that could be an instant hit? I mean, just an instant hit for somebody if he goes to the right spot.
Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Jack Sawyer.
Why are you saying that?
Because I think that he plays the game with passion. He's relentless at times. So I think that's I feel like if he goes to Cincinnati or if he gets paired up with another good defensive end, I think that other teams will game plan for that other defense end, and I think that he'll be remarkable on the opposite side, and he'll be a great DN too for somebody.
Yeah, I had that vision just the other day when I was mowing, of all places, of him replacing Sam Hubbard.
That's what I've been saying that since Sam, actually, since he declared he was coming out, I said he looked like a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah, he does look out. And boy, would that be a tour de force for him. Hey, we're going to be back in a moment with the College Football Pulse, ladies and gentlemen, after this little bit elongated break. But this is Tyvis Powell along with yours truly, Tim May, on 97.1 The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Jacob Reimer. The Ohio Major League Baseball teams have a couple things in common heading into the weekend. They both open up a road weekend series tonight, and they both are looking to snap 2-game losing streaks. The Guardians are currently underway in Pittsburgh taking on the Pirates, and the Reds are in Baltimore jumping into interleague play to visit the Orioles. First pitch from Camden Yards is here at 7:05. Coverage will begin over on ESPN Columbus, but can also be found right here on The Fan following the Buckeye Show at 8 o'clock. The NBA play-in series wraps up tonight with the Miami Heat in Atlanta taking on the Hawks. The winner gets the 8th seed in the East and heads up to Cleveland for a series with the Cavs. And in the West, the Grizzlies host the Mavericks. The winner gets the Thunder in round 1. And through 2 rounds of the RBC Heritage, Justin Thomas sets the pace at 12 under par. Siwoo Kim and Russell Henley sit 2 shots back at 10 under par heading into the weekend. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
or as Tyvis and I like to call it, this is Tim May, yours truly, we like to call it open heart surgery. But go ahead, Jacob Reimer, hit us with your pulse.
All right, guys, let's get started with our guy, Lee Corso. He announced his retirement after 38 seasons on College Game Day. He's famously known for lots of reasons, but most notably his headgear picks on College Game Day, putting on the head of the mascot of the school he's picking. His first one was October 5th, 1996, and his last one will be August 30th, week 1 of the 2025 college football season. What are some of your guys' favorite Corso moments, and could his last headgear pick be Brutus?
Anytime he picked Brutus was always good. I tell you what, one of my favorite moments was when we were going to the Big Ten championship. I think they asked him, who was your pick? And it was like, he was like all Spartaned up, and then he like finished with Brutus, and it was like funny to me.
Yeah.
Now we went on and lost that game, but it was, but it was still like funny. Like, okay, he rocked with us, because it's like, if I remember correctly, like his winning percentages with Brutus is pretty high.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate though that he kind of got old. People have been talking about him for the past couple of years, saying like it's probably time for him to let it go, because if you just listened to him and saw him, you kind of seen like he wasn't the same what he used to be. You could tell that age got on him. So it's nice that he's in retirement. It's gonna stink though, because people look forward to seeing that headgear pick, and now that once it's gone, which it better be Ohio State, now that it's gone, like.
Yeah,
I wonder how they're going to try to replace that part.
Yeah, clearly he had some medical problems, which caused him to have, obviously have trouble speaking, much like I have, and I haven't had medical problems. But the bottom line is that I have no patience for people who pick on people when it's obvious what the situation is. Mm-hmm. And number two, he's not launching rockets or building cars. He's just talking football. And I give it up to him for sticking with it as long as he did, because he did become an icon. My favorite moment was when they're calling, I think it was a game at Virginia Tech, speaking of Virginia Tech, when the lightning bolt came out of nowhere and hit his rental car, in the parking lot of the stadium while they were doing the game.
Really?
You can't make stuff like that up, wow. And so I'm not sure what that said about him, but it had quite a shock value.
Well said.
As we know, former Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava parted ways with the Vols and has been rumored to be a UCLA target, potentially heading out west. But let's turn to Tennessee, as they now have some work to do. Right now, they have redshirt freshman Jake Merklinger and true freshman George McIntyre on the roster. But if they go with the portal, Iowa's Brendan Sullivan has mentioned as a target. Notre Dame's Steve Angeli is expected to be in the transfer portal. What do you guys think they should do at quarterback if it's the portal? Who are some names to watch?
The kid from Iowa State's intriguing, right? Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, right now it's the tampering period.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they could come up with a nice figure to entice somebody to get into the transfer portal. But if I had to go with guys that's in there, the Notre Dame guy would probably be, one of the guys that they probably would look at first. Iowa State, because they had something going there.
Rocco Becht.
Being with Matt Campbell, who's a good play caller, so you'll have that under your belt. So, or I mean, if they really feel good about the ones they have, I mean, they can rock with that too. But I think you got to bring in at least some guys that got some experience. You said that those two guys on Tennessee, what year are they?
Merklinger is a redshirt freshman, and McIntyre is a true freshman.
Yeah, they got to bring in somebody with some experience.
Yeah,
especially at Tennessee in the SEC.
Like I said on Saturday, during the tailgate show before the spring game, I mean, the interesting thing about Nico was, imagine Tennessee without him last December when they came to Ohio State. They couldn't do anything, but he ran around and made some plays and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, it's hard to believe they've got somebody necessarily as good as or better than him sitting on that bench. I mean, the Rocco Becht kid from he's not a kid really, he's an older guy, but from Iowa State to me is the more intriguing, like right now. Angeli, I would look at Angeli as being possibly a candidate for Ohio State to maybe look at, to bring in as maybe a fourth member of that quarterback room, but he may be looking, hey, I got a couple years left here. I'm going to go somewhere where I can definitely play. But I would look at him more as a candidate there, maybe a guy that understands he's not necessarily going to be the starter, but he could be valuable in that room.
Yeah. And as far as Nico goes, I mean, listen, if he goes to UCLA, don't we play them this year?
Exactly.
So he'll see
November, I do believe.
He'll see the Buckeyes again.
And the thing about it is he's not going to get the money. You know, if he goes to UCLA, he's not even going to get what he got at Tennessee
and
unless
and he's going to get taxed.
Yeah.
Now, to that, like with you never know with the transfer portal, and we've seen the spring game now for Ohio State. Could we see either Sayin or Keenholz jump in and that be a target for Tennessee there too?
Well,
who knows,
they
right?
say if the price is right, everybody got a price. So, and it wouldn't be Sayin, it would be Keenholz if anything. If the right people get in his ear and say, hey, you know, it's you never know what's going to happen at Ohio State. We can offer you 2.5. You know, if he's like, hey, I could be the starter like that. That's what. But if he feels like ultimately he's got a real shot at being the starting quarterback at Ohio State with the wide receivers that they have, like you can't pass up on that moment either. So I think Lincoln probably sticks around.
Yeah, I would if I were him. Number one, no one has said A, B, and C yet. Well, it'll be A and B. It won't be Tavian St. Clair, but no one is, including Ryan Day, who's the most important one to say it, has determined that this is the pecking order. It reminds you a lot, definitely, of the spring of 2018, when Joe Burrow and Dwayne Haskins Jr. battled, and they basically had to admit if they had started a game tomorrow, it would be Dwayne Haskins Jr. starting, and a lot of that was because of him saving the day the year before against Michigan. Otherwise, they were almost even, and we saw why, right? They were both fantastic. I think it behooves Lincoln Keenholz to stick around just to see where he fits in August. There are only 3 guys in the room, and only 2 of them are considered right now truly playable.
And injuries is a part of the thing.
Exactly.
I mean, if he didn't win it, like it's no guarantee that Sayin finished the season, healthy, or if he doesn't have a dip. I mean, neither one of them had a lot of experience on the field anyway, so there's going to be mistakes that's going to be made. And if you can't overcome those mistakes, or you continue to keep repeating the same mistakes, they're going to have to put somebody else in there. So it probably would behoove him to stay here because, like I say, your numbers is going to be better here because of the wide receivers that you have, the coaching staff that you have. Like, you're getting some of the best things ever to where you can go transfer to, I don't know, a Tennessee or something like that. But will you be good? Will you have the weapons? No.
Yeah. Are you guaranteed even to be the guy? That's the other question you have to, because like you said, I mean, the kid from Iowa State has played. He's played prolifically, for example. He makes more sense for Tennessee to go after than a guy who hasn't really even played. So there are all kinds of reasons, you would look at that. But I think the main thing is you build up equity, man, when you're at a place for a while that pays off down the road for you, too, if you play your cards right. And I've seen all kinds of former Ohio State players, basically cash in on that equity down the road. And I don't know. Lincoln's a really stand-up dude, too, man. I would just hate to see that happen.
I agree.
Maybe this is a way that Ryan Day can avoid one of them jumping in the portal, was kind of playing out this battle all the way out to August.
Yeah, but I don't think he's being I don't think he's playing a game in that sense. I truly do believe it is a close competition. Everybody, we all, going into the spring, we thought Julian Sayin was going to be the guy, and he didn't look that guy in the Student Appreciation Day, but suddenly with Tyvis Powell standing there on the sidelines, he changed, right? In the spring game, he looked the part, and it took Lincoln a little while to get his Lincoln warmed up. But once he did, he actually played pretty well too, right, Tyvis?
Yeah, they both did. Both of them look. If either one, I'm comfortable with either one of those guys being the starting quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah, I think Ohio State is too.
All right, last one here real quick. Earlier this week, it was announced that Colorado will be retiring the jersey numbers of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter during their spring game. What do you guys make of Colorado's decision to do this?
Travis Hunter, I get.
Yeah.
The Travis Hunter, I get. And Shedeur, I mean.
What do you mean, I mean, man?
I mean, I don't know.
What are your requirements, or whatever you want to call it, goals that you have to get to, knock over to get your number retired? I mean, Tyvis Powell had 2 of the great interceptions in Ohio State history, and that would be kind of putting him in the same book. I mean,
they ain't retiring at 23.
Yeah, exactly. Or going up on the hall, the
and
wall
it's
of
number
fame.
2 too. That's the craziest part. It's like a really good number.
Yeah,
to retire.
But I'm just saying, Shedeur. I mean, seriously, there have been quarterbacks who've had better numbers at Colorado and were there longer. I understand Travis Hunter. He won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he might be the number 1 pick in the draft, but nobody can convince me Shedeur Sanders' number should be retired. It really speaks volumes, as in a low volume, about what your football program's all about, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know a lot of people was talking about Cordell Stewart should probably have it retired before Shedeur, but hey, it's Deion. He could do what he want to do, and they give him free reins to do what he want to do. If he want to retire his son's jersey, then hey, let's so be it.
You know, at Ohio State, they quit retiring numbers. They made it just putting your name up on the wall of honor up there, because they were going to run out of numbers. Unless they start going triple digits. Hey, speaking of that, we're going to get back and talk about a little bit more sports here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tim May along with Tyvis Powell on the Buckeye Show on 97.1 The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Don't let life get in the way of what's most important. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only 79 cents a pound with your card, an additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick, but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
All of our local shows have been ranked in the top 10 in the country by our industry peers, except for Timmy Hall and the Buckeye Show. I was going to make a joke about it, but it's more sad than anything. Poor Timmy, the Fan.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Looking for a very special way to commemorate the 9th national championship in Ohio State football history? Then check out the beautiful Ohio State timepieces at OxiaTime.com. Oxia has created a series of heirloom quality designs to celebrate the Buckeyes, including the limited edition Ryan Day autograph box sets. Equally impressive to the quality of their products is the quality of the people behind these watches. Go to OxiaTime.com to learn more on their backstory and claim your piece of Ohio State history. That's AXIATime.com.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership is better than ever. Save up to $1,100 each year on gas, groceries, delivery fees, and streaming options. With double fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and exclusive savings for members, there's so much to love about Boost. Sign up for a Boost membership today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Windy and warm, and temperatures around 80 degrees on this Friday. Overnight, we'll keep it mild, down to the low to mid-60s, with a chance of a shower by Saturday morning. Also, rumble of thunder early in the day, and an isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon. Otherwise, your Saturday is mostly cloudy and dry, with temperatures in the mid-70s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Buckeye talk that's way fresher than a Fan Cafe chili dog. Doggy. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light.
Yeah, what do you have cooking over there, Tyvis? It smells pretty good. This is Tim May along with Tyvis Powell on The Buckeye Show. And as we went to break, we were trying to contemplate who's that player on offense, other than the obvious answer, the quarterback, that really needs, for want of another term, to step up this season, or really have a breakout kind of season, or really maybe even go a step higher than he's been before. That wouldn't be Jeremiah Smith, would it? So I'll let Tyvis go first, because this has an interesting. There's a chance for this to be an even better offense than last year if you really look at it, because they're almost going to be forced to be a little more explosive in the passing game, because they don't quite have those two proven big-time talented running backs like they had a year ago, which they could lean on and stuff. So you go first, man. Who do you like, or who do you think needs to?
I think that, when I did this exercise and I thought about this in my head as I was driving over here, I kept going, obviously, quarterback is the obvious answer, 100%.
Yeah.
And obviously Jeremiah Smith, Jeremiah Smith is going to be JJ. So I looked at it and I said, what was the biggest difference in last year's team than any other team? And the answer I came up with was the running back room. James People is my answer, because you have to, if you got a young quarterback, you got to get the ball out of it. You can't just have him sling the ball 50 times a game. Like that's a recipe for disaster, especially for a young quarterback. You got to have a running back that can get that run game going, that defenses have to respect, because now those linebackers, it puts them in a bind. Like, okay, I can't just think everything's going to be passed, because if I do that, this running back is getting 6-7 yards a pop.
Yeah.
And you think about who they got now with the James Peoples, the C.J. Donaldson, Bo Jackson, but I'm particularly talking about James People on this one. He's got the ability to hit the home run.
Yeah.
And if we don't get up on him soon, he'll get past us and he's out of there. So for me, it's James People in the running back room, but James People specifically.
Yeah, as I call him, the people's choice. He definitely needs to step up in that regard, because a lot will be asked of him and C.J. Donaldson. And I think both those guys look good in the spring, from what I understand. And then a little bit we got to see of them in the spring game. James Peoples was here and gone, before you knew it. In that regard, they held him out of most major contact. But, what people discount, man, that those two guys brought last year, Quinshawn, but definitely Travion, was just the all-around game to a running back, which, leans heavily on pass protection, pass pro, as they call it. And I thought both those guys were excellent in that realm. And then Travion was maybe even a cut above. And you don't always get that out of young guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they got to figure the pass pro thing is they those Quinshon and Trey was the best in the business at picking up those, especially for a young quarterback like Julian Saint or Lincoln King-Holtz. You need somebody that's going to protect them. If you feel protected, that kind of makes you be able to go through your progressions. If you're worried about that, your eyes ain't down the field. So you need those guys to really step up in that. But also just being able to dump it off. They'll be the check down guys as well. It's going to be hard for teams to stop J.J., Cardinell, Brandon Ennis, and Max Clare. But in the rare cases that they do, you got to be able to dump that ball off to somebody that can make some plays. And I think James people can do that. I mean, they compare him to J.K. Dobbins all the time.
Right.
And they say when they watch him, he's like J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
And J.K. was a very small but explosive athlete. I mean, you got to get your pass down with him because he'll run straight through you.
Yeah.
If James people can do that, like that to me, I'm sick of seeing just a 7-on-7. You've seen that with CJ. You've seen that with Dwayne. All these guys, but with Justin, we've always had a good quarterback with great receivers. The run game to me is what made the biggest difference to why they were finally the balanced team that they thrived to be since Ryan Day has taken over. And I think that if they need to find a way to continue to be that, because I think Tyler Bowen with the offense is going to be the run game coordinator and all those things.
Yeah.
I think they said that he's really good when it comes to dialing up runs. Chip Kelly came over here and really showed you how to run the ball successfully. They got to find a way to continue to mimic that if they want to have a very successful season.
I agree. It was funny last year how everything finally came together in the Ryan Day era, which was a stout run game, great pass pro from the running backs, and then the number one defense in the country. All you had to do was score some points, right?
Yeah.
And it, when it comes together, man, it comes together. It's pretty sweet. I'm looking at it, and I have two names in mind. Can I use two names?
Yeah.
Number one, Carnell Tate came on last year, and definitely now he has to continue that because Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, I don't know how you stop both of them. Most modern day college defenses, Carnell Tate has definitely got to continue that progression. What I like about him too is he's really stepped up as a leader in that room. Losing Emeka Egbuka is a huge loss.
Yes.
In the leadership aspect of things. You know him; he's about as quality an individual as you're ever going to meet. And then I like her. But then Max Clare, you already mentioned him. That's why I mentioned him in passing. But, man, if they really get the tight end, they had the tight end involved in some key situations last year. But if they get him involved a little bit more in the passing game on a regular basis, this offense can really go places, in my opinion. And Clare seems to have that in him. It was kind of cool that he gets that touchdown pass in the spring game, right?
Yeah. I mean,
where were you standing on that play?
I was on the offensive side. Yeah. Right when I seen that play, I was on the. Obviously, I had Jake Butt and Guy in my ear because they was talking, and I could hear the whole broadcast. And we all said the same thing. Like, if they can continue to have this happen, he's going to have this opportunity a lot because of all the wide receivers that they got. He's going to get one-on-one. Teams are going to forget about him, and he's going to have the opportunity to make them pay every time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it unless you're willing to say, unless you're willing to take your safety and say, listen, we're going to take one safety and put him on Max Clare because we want the cover ability. Now you're leaving either J.J. singled up, Carnell singled up, or Brandon Ennis singled up, and you just can't afford to do that. So, yeah, the Max Clare thing is he's bound to have a really good season.
Yeah, I didn't mention Brandon Ennis because I think he is going to have a season. I mean, he's waited his time, and he's definitely quality when it comes to that aspect of things. I had Julian Sayans, a high school coach on my Tim May show that dropped today, talking about what he saw from the spring game. And he said he saw a lot of what Julian Say was all about in high school back in Carlsbad, California. Poised, stepped up when he had to, did the right things, was smooth about things. Do you agree with that before we go to the break here?
About Julian?
Yeah, about Julian saying I thought he looked large and in charge for the most part. And by the way, I don't know where this got started. He's short. He's about 6'1.5", 6'2". I'm 6'2". And I look him pretty much eye to eye. So I don't know where that little scheme got started.
I mean, he's still growing. I'm sure he'll get another inch or two.
Yeah, but he's not a shorty to begin with, my point.
People think you look at Will Howard and then you think about him. So it's kind of like that's why they think that. But 6'1" is – actually, there's a lot of good quarterbacks that's 6'1".
Yes.
But No, I think when you watch him, I think his decision making is great. The way he processes the game, it's very quick. And when he realizes what he's supposed to do, that ball comes out his hand really fast. Yeah. You know, that was the one thing I kept hearing about it, you know, during spring ball. Like, he just got a quick release. He got a quick release. And I'm like, okay, like, y'all. What
does that mean?
People be gassing stuff up. But then I watched him in the spring game, like, throw the ball. And I was like, oh, yeah, that ball do fly right out his hand. Like, it ain't quick release. What I mean by quick release is there's no wind up. You know, there as a safety, you can look at a quarterback and have a tell on when he's about to throw the ball. You know, some quarterbacks wind it up, some quarterbacks pat the ball. Yeah. It's just things like that. He has none of that. His hand comes off the ball and it's gone. Phew, it's right out his hand. So I was impressed with that, and I really liked his accuracy. I thought he was very accurate in this game.
Yeah. Can you explain, people? We got a few seconds left here. Can you explain to people what it's like to defend against a very accurate quarterback?
It's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, because you almost have to be perfect, right? I mean, explain that to people, Tyvis.
So if you go up against a good quarterback, like a C.J. Stroud, who's a very accurate guy, but what C.J. stood out was his ball placement. Yeah. He threw the ball where you just couldn't get to it. Like, the only person that can get to it was the wide receiver. You know, whether that be putting it just a yard out of bounds so I can't reach it, or putting it just down below that I can't get through the receiver to make the play. Like, that stuff is annoying. The big arm guy, like you can affect the big arm guy because all you got to do is play the too high safety, and they get antsy and they'll throw you a ball. But a guy that's just accurate, that throws the ball on the money, is very annoying because you'll be draped all over this wide receiver, and somehow he'll find a way to put it in a spot to where only his guy can get it, and it's very frustrating.
How important is it for the whole football team to know who the starting quarterback is, if you follow my drift, from the standpoint of he does become the ipso facto leader of the team? How important is it to have that decision sooner rather than later, so to speak?
Yeah, I think you want to have guys gravitate to one guy. You want to have guys understand that this guy's going to be the voice, so they can stay after, start throwing, continue to work on the chemistry together. I think that's important. Obviously, Coach Meyer took it up to the final hour with Cardale and JT. Man, I think that caused a lot of confusion. You're seeing early on the struggles that we had there. So I think that Ryan Day did a really good job last year not dragging this thing on, name and will the guy. I think probably like after the first week to where the year before, it was like the second week of camp, and we still didn't know who the starting quarterback was going to be. So I think with these two guys, although they're young, I think it's best to make somebody be number one and be number two so guys can get comfortable with that voice.
Hey, well, we may ask Dillon Davis that in a minute. Dillon Davis from the Delaware Gazette is going to join us here, ladies and gentlemen. He's at football practice as much as I am, if not more, and he covers the Buckeyes. And we're going to ask him about a lot of things to do with the Buckeyes when we return here on the Buckeye Show on 97.1 The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
When it comes to trucks, Toyota gives you the power of choice. Now through April 30th, get 2.99 APR financing or up to $3,000 customer cash on a powerful new 25 Tundra, depending on model. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a 25 Tundra SR Crew Max for $449 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Where every segment is another Buckeye surprise. You've got the Buckeye Show.
Yep, just like Christmas, everything's a surprise, right, Tyvis, when it comes to Tim May and Tyvis Powell here on the Buckeye Show. Boy, I never thought of that. That's my usual reaction to something Tyvis says. I like to follow up on it because I'm a question asker, not necessarily an answerer. But here's a guy that does both. Dillon Davis from the Delaware Gazette. He played. I played golf with him and his dad yesterday at the golf club of Dublin. And
I hope he was a scratch golfer.
Dude, this guy can hit it, as I like to say. I'm 71. I never hit the ball farther than I do now, but this guy can. He's one of those guys that can drive it to the moon, as Jackie Gleason would say. But Dillon, are you on with us? Welcome to the Buckeye Show.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing very well, man. Doing very well. As I told Tyvis, I want to get you on and kind of get your thoughts on Ohio State coming out of the spring and anything else you want to talk about in that regard. But, we were talking about the quarterback situation just before we had a break a minute ago. And everybody wants you to tell them, everybody wants to hear Julian Sayen's the guy. They ask you the question, but they really want to hear you answer with, yeah, Julian Sayen's the guy. You're a guy that covers Ohio State football as much as anybody else does. What is your take on Julian Sayen is the guy coming out of the spring?
Well, I'll say there was a point in time going through the spring and just what we had, we were able to see throughout practice and what we were hearing coming from Ryan Day, where I wondered if that was still the case. Now, I saw what everybody else saw in the spring game and thought that Julian put a big step forward and taking hold of that job. Now it remains to be seen if he can springboard into summer workouts and then into early fall camp with a hold on that job. But I'll admit there was a time I wondered about that. But certainly after that spring game, I do feel like he's the odds-on front runner going into fall camp. For whatever that's worth, there's still a lot of work to be done there for sure.
Dillon, I know a lot of eyes were on the quarterback position, but when after that game was done, was there anything that concerns you going into the summer?
Without question, it's the interior of that defensive line. I've said this from the beginning of spring camp and, breaking out of spring practice. I think that's a significant issue for Ohio State that needs addressing. Obviously, the transfer portal is open now, and we'll see what they do and if they can get some help in there. But they need help. I don't think the help is on that roster. As a matter of fact, I asked Ryan Day about that after the spring game, if the portal was something that he would look into with the defensive line, and you could sense in his voice that he was aware of the fact that that's something they're going to have to look into for sure. So we'll see if they can get the help, but they need it. If they were to take what they have on the roster now going into fall camp, I would say that's a big issue that I'm not sure that they're going to be able to fix heading into that Texas game. Yeah, and we're talking about depth on that defensive front, and especially interior depth, because I do believe Caden McCullough and McDonald and Edric Houston can play anywhere, for anybody. But the depth is definitely lacking, and it'd be interesting because Ryan Day brought it up several times during the spring about things just not getting done the way they want. I mean, I want to look on the other side of the ball now. If they started a game tomorrow, it does appear that Austin Searville would probably be the starting right tackle. I thought that was a development through the spring that kind of came to fruition in the spring game when you saw the first team line run out there. But what was your take on that? Yeah, I've had this question come up to me, a lot of times, people asking if he's a serious candidate to start at right tackle, and I tell them I expect him to start at right tackle. It's certainly a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise just given the versatility we've seen from Austin. There was a point in camp last year, people might remember, where there was a virus running through the Woody, and a lot of offensive linemen were out for practice, and Austin Searville was one of those guys that was filling in at left tackle. Yeah. So it's no surprise that he can do it. I fully expect him to start at right tackle. Hearing everything we've heard about him coming out of spring, he's an Iron Buckeye. He's showing up in the weight room and in the leadership qualities. I expect him to be a starter on that offensive line for Ohio State at tackle, and I think that gives Ohio State a really good spot to be in depth-wise if he can start at tackle, knowing what they went out and got in the portal as well.
Now, I know we touched on the interior of the line, but I want to ask you about the outside, the edges. Obviously, you losing JTT and Jack Sawyer, that's going to be big, trying to fill those shoes. Now, we know Kenyatta Jackson. Is there any other guys? Who do you think steps up and have a big season? I know C.J. Hicks obviously changed his position. Is he one of those guys?
Yeah, I'm big on Kenyatta. I think he's primed to have a great year. So that's a good place to start. C.J. Hicks is kind of the X factor in all of this. We don't know what that's going to look like. Yeah. We don't know what he's going to be able to give them. If he gives them something, and I'm not saying he has to be that guy, but if he gives them something in the mold of a Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter kind of guy, they're really in business in terms of bringing pressure off the edge. But that remains to be seen. The more known commodities, obviously, Kenyatta's got to be that guy. Caden Curry has to take another step forward. He looked good at times when he got the opportunities last year. Past that, it's kind of it's kind of up in the air. Logan George is the guy that's gotten a ton of praise this year or this spring, and admittedly, it's a guy I didn't really know what to expect from when they brought him over. Maybe that was some small school bias because he came from Idaho State, but he's gotten a ton of praise from the coaching staff this spring and looked good in the spring game as well. So maybe he's a guy that brings good depth there. And I'll add one name: Zion Grady, a true freshman. Ryan Day went out of his way in one of his press conferences this spring to bring him up. He wasn't asked about Zion Grady. He brought him up himself. So maybe he's a guy as a true freshman who sees the field early. And if that happens, that's a great development for Ohio State. I think they're fine in terms of their edge depth, and maybe they add to that. I know there's some names out there that they might be looking to add in the portal, but I think right now they're fine on the edge. It's just really the depth of that interior that's going to hold them back, if anything.
I agree 100%. It's really funny because you're losing Denzel Burke, but I'm telling you, it seemed like the cornerback room got deeper, just of guys quality guys that can play. Jermaine Matthews, obviously they've got some guys coming on so much that they were looking at him at that slot corner kind of guy as the spring went on too, which I think he's quite capable of playing. But Devin Sanchez is a five-star freshman who just looks like he's going to play somehow. Maybe not every play, but he's a guy that really came on and I think lived up to the billing. What's your take on that, Dillon?
Without question, like Devin Sanchez is one of those guys. I go back to last spring, and I'm not putting on the same plane necessarily, but when you walked into the Woody for day one of spring practice last year and your eyes just kind of start to survey the field, they gravitate towards Jeremiah Smith because he just looks different than a lot of guys out there. Yeah. And Devin Sanchez, especially for his age, is just one of those guys out there. He just looks different the way he runs at his size. He's going to be a great player. I don't know how soon that's going to be. I know a lot of people want to go ahead and pencil him into the two deep and say that he's a guy who's going to play right away. I think he's talented enough to do that without question, but I'm a huge Aaron Scott fan myself. Yes. I think Aaron Scott's a great player, and if he had to start for Ohio State tomorrow against Texas, I would feel great about where they're at with that. And that's saying nothing of still having IGB and Jermaine Matthews as well. I've been of the opinion, I've said this and I'll stand by it, I know how good Ohio State's receiver room is and has been, but I don't think there's a deeper room in the country at any position than Ohio State's cornerback room in terms of just depth of talent. I firmly believe that. We haven't even talked about Bryce West either. They're so loaded with talent in that room.
Let me ask you about the wide receiver, Zone 6, Mylan Graham in particular. He's probably the name that a lot of people walked away from the spring game, knowing. How do they get him on the field this season?
Tyvis, that's a great question.
Quads.
Go to quads. Way above my pay grade. I don't know how that looks. Again, going back to how loaded that room is, I don't envy Brian Hartline in that sense, but I do in the sense that there's not a better position to be in if you're going to coach that position. I'm still a big Bryson Rogers guy, but I don't know how he sees the field as much as maybe his talent suggests that he should, let alone a guy like Mylan Graham. So, I think Mylan, if there's any way for him to get on the field, they've got to do it. I think they will do it just because he looks like he's a little bit of a different kind of playmaker than maybe they have elsewhere. So, but with Jeremiah and Brandon Ennis and Carnell Tate at the top, I don't know how he sees the field, but man, seeing what we saw in the spring game, and frankly, going back to camp last year when he got there late in June, and he admitted he was behind, but he was making plays in camp last year as well that were turning some heads. So this isn't new. We all got to see it, nationally in the spring game, but he was making plays even last year in camp after just arriving. So if they can find a way, they've got to do it because he's a talent that needs to be on the field.
Speed kills, right? Hey, we got like a few seconds left here, Dillon. If they played a game tomorrow, Caleb Downs at one safety, who'd be your other safety? It looks like maybe Malik Hartford, but Jalen McClain had a good spring, it appears. But who would be your other safety?
I still think it's Malik Hartford. Look, Jalen McClain's a fantastic player. It has been Malik Hartford who's gotten the first looks from what we've seen,
right.
And certainly the spring game as well. And so I think they're in a great spot either way. I still think Malik gets that first shot with Jalen waiting in the wings, but they're good either way there. I'm still a big fan of both those guys. We've seen both of them, get quality playing time on the field in game situations. So I think they're good there, but I think it's Malik if we had to say it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dillon Davis, man. He'll be my first guy in there from the Delaware Gazette. Hey, Dillon, thanks for joining us, my man.
Tim, it's always a pleasure. Anytime, you as well, Tyvis. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's Dillon Davis of Delaware Gazette, as I said, and does a hell of a job covering Ohio State football. We're going to come back, speaking of Ohio State football, we're going to come back with hashtag Buckeyes for our final segment here in just a few seconds on the Buckeye Show on 97.1 The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Limit 10. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
I can't sleep.
What is it now?
It's the company. It's chaos.
What's chaos now?
The numbers, the expenses, the books. What if we get audited?
No one's going to audit you at 3 a.m. Go to sleep.
I can't sleep.
You could if you used Ramp.
Who said that?
I don't care because they're right. Go to sleep and sign up for Ramp in the morning, Jerry.
Ramp is the corporate card that handles all your tedious financial operations automatically, integrates directly with your ERP, and gives you complete control over every transaction. Ramp gives you everything you need for bulletproof books and a better night's sleep.
Wow. That is exactly what my company needs.
Yes, and exactly what I also need. Go to sleep, Jerry.
Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at the Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
With Tyvis Powell playing air guitar, we're back for the final segment here on the Buckeye Show for a Friday night, April the 18th, isn't that right, Tyvis?
Yes.
And this is our favorite part of the program, #Buckeyes, and where, who's getting mentioned out there for what reason? Is it good or bad, indifferent? Tyvis, what you got on the #Buckeyes from X, formerly known as Twitter? Or do you go Instagram?
No, I went Twitter or X or whatever they call it.
Just don't call it late for lunch.
Yeah. Women's softball. Obviously, it's rivalry week. They're going up against the team up north. And I tell you what, this game was hairy for a little bit. In the middle of the sixth, they was down 3-2. And then Skylar Lemon, I think that's how you pronounce it. Lyman, maybe. That's how you probably pronounce it. She hit a bomb. Ooh, she went yard and gave them the 4-3 win for them to beat the team up north. So it's always nice seeing the Buckeyes beat the Wolverines.
That's all this team does. Remember, we had Kieran Kumar on here, a couple of weeks ago. You remember that? And we talked to her, the first-year softball coach for Ohio State. And, their whole aim in life is when you go to bat is to hit a double. Hit a double, because if you hit the ball on the line, you got a chance. If you get a double, you got a chance to hit a little bit better, and it's a home run. And they lead the nation, or did lead the nation in home runs and in doubles. That's crazy when you think about the transformation of this team. And it just paid off for them against the team up north.
Yeah, I need to, with the Cardale softball game coming up in the summer, I might need to get some pointers.
Well, there you go. I think anything can help you guys, especially when the other team has Lincoln Keenholz. But,
we got to find a way to win. Like we done lost to them like maybe 3 years in a row. Like it's got to stop.
Yeah, I think a get in shape program would be the first start. Like
no, you kind of
like in longest yard.
You want to bulk up for that, though.
Yeah.
You
bulk up, but you still got to be.
See some of these guys in the majors. The bigger guys is the ones that's hitting the ball deep.
You still want to be huffing and puffing when you go to the plate for the third time. I guess at my point.
Just for one day. I can handle it for one day.
I know. I remember Urban Meyer played in this golf tournament earlier this year where he had to play 4 rounds in 4 days. And I always know he's 10 years younger than me, and he's 60, going on 61. And he couldn't get out of bed the next day, because who plays golf 4 days in a row, 18 holes, right? Except for the real guys. But, hey, my hashtag goes out to Bill Kurlick, one of my great friends. Known him for 40 years going back. And as he brings up the #Buckeyes are looking for defensive linemen in the transfer portal, something we were just talking about. And one of the top ones is locked in his date to visit Ohio State. That'd be Buckeye transfer portal target Bo Atkinson, defensive end, sort of edge guy from North Carolina. So what an interesting time it is to be alive, right? Where you get done with spring and you can go find guys to fill in holes where you couldn't do that in the old days.
Yeah,
you had to grow those guys like a crop.
It's got to be very stressful, like trying to keep some of these guys.
Yeah,
because it's not necessarily the starters that you got to worry about. I don't think you being at Ohio State, I don't think people are coming to poach a starter away. Like, that's just not – the starter's going to be like, no, I'm good because I'm starting at the Ohio State University. Why would I leave?
Right.
It's those backup guys that you got to worry about, because they'll look at it like somebody say, hey, you're a backup, but if you come here, you'll be a starter and we'll pay. And that can be very enticing. And it makes me think about, like, when I played, like, some of the backups that we had. Like, think about, like, the Marshawn's, the Malik Hookers, like, the guys that weren't playing, Denzel Ward, like, all these guys that could have got poached from our team. Like, that, obviously, they went on to have Joe Burrow. Like, it's just wild that this is a thing that's happening right now. And I feel bad for, like, Pantone, because he's got to be the one that's worried about, like, these things and try to figure these things out.
It's they won't say it out loud, but it's one of those things where you've got to come to a point, you know, when you're at Ohio State, for example, of some guys you hope will leave, you know, because with the 105 limit coming, you know, you can't really afford to have flotsam and jetsam, as they call it, you know, the leftovers of a shipwreck. You've got to have guys that will contribute or have the potential to contribute. And it's really a fine line you walk there, isn't it?
I mean, yes. I guess the funny thing is I think that they probably are open with and honest with those guys. Like, I think didn't Kyle McCord just come out and say something like that? Like they kind of told me I need to leave type thing. Like they kind of pushed me out the door type way. So I think that they're very honest about what they want to do.
The way I understood it, what they mainly wanted from him was, for want of another term, more fire, you know, more fire in the belly. I mean, it just, you know, it's just an interesting time because like we were talking about earlier about the quarterback, and I said, doesn't it behoove you to name him sooner rather than later if you do know who your guy is? And I'm not sure they totally know that yet, but I would think they feel good about what Julian Sayin delivered in the spring game when the lights were on. And like I said, Tyvis Powell was on the sideline watching him intently. You got to feel good about the way he responded. Yeah. Right. And off season is such a time when things can go wandering off for you from a focus standpoint as a football team, I do believe. And even though there's a Mickey Marotti program and stuff, but you always like to have those leaders kind of established, right, in the summer.
You know, you bring up a interesting point when we talk about, you know, Kyle McCord. You know, to think that him and Devin Brown went to the final hour to who the starting quarterback was going to be, and neither one of the quarterbacks are here today. Or like play.
Oh yeah.
Like it's amazing to where we were in the quarterback room, because I mean, obviously Kyle McCord went and had an amazing season with Syracuse, throwing for a lot of yards, and Devin Brown, we'll see what happens at Cal. I mean,
but he walked into a firestorm there because, you know, that
all the running backs is leaving.
Yeah, the Harsin guy, they named the former Auburn coach as their offensive coordinator, and everybody's going, what? You know,
he better get ready to throw the ball.
Be careful where you want to go. The grass is not always greener, as I think Josh Heupel said, right? But yeah, you're right. I mean, so as a team, how do you deal with that? I mean, of guys gone, if you know that you kind of became buddies with, or like Hero Canoe is now at Texas.
It's I tell you what, it's giving them a good glimpse of like NFL life. Yeah, you know, NFL, you can have a guy here today, next Tuesday he gone. Like it's one of those things. So it's hard to build relationships, but you know, I think that the relationship that some of these guys build is more than just football. I mean, you see all the time that they're still supporting each other. You know, see guys in the portal or seeing guys, you know, getting picked up out the portal. You'll see them, you know, put it out on Instagram, like congratulating them and things like that. So I think those relationships still is deeper than football, but you just got to know, like, at the end of the day, people going to do what's best for them, and you can't fault nobody for that.
Yeah, speaking of hashtag Buckeyes, I don't even know if you hashtag Buckeyes this, but Jermaine Matthews, there was a guy lamenting a player lamenting the fact that the whole camaraderie, team chemistry thing seems to have gone out the window in this modern era. And Jermaine Matthews basically said, well, you know, in essence, I'm paraphrasing, it's not exactly what he tweeted, but not at Ohio State. You know what I mean? That was as much a team atmosphere as I've ever seen at Ohio State last year, especially when they got backed into the corner.
Yeah,
you agree?
I mean, think about it. You got a guy like Devin Brown who's not even a starter, not even going to be in the plans moving forward. He's already in the portal, but yet he's staying around because he don't want to leave just yet. And I think that's what made that team so special, is that everybody enjoyed being around each other, so they continue to win. It was like a motivating factor. Like, I don't want this to end just yet, so we're going to keep winning and take this as long as we possibly can before we have to go our separate ways. So I think Ryan Day did an excellent job of selling that to the team and having them all buy into that. He's got to do it again, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that is the head coach's job now in modern college football. It's not putting a team together. It's keeping it together. It's keeping gluing the parts on to keep falling off and things like that, right? I'm not sure anybody earns $11 million a year. That's a lot of money, but they do earn their money, right? The good ones, Tyvis?
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is, you got
24/7.
Yeah, and you got to think so far beyond just your starters. Like you got to think about making sure that the spring to me is more about making sure that our twos is ready. Like our two, because like I said, with 16 games, you don't know who you're going to depend on, and you got to make sure that these guys is ready. And when I talked to them, that's exactly what they said. Like it's the inexperience, so we trying to get them as many reps as possible, and that's why this spring was the way it was supposed to be, because it was supposed to be very laid back.
Yeah,
because they just came off the title run, but they seen where they were, and they're like, listen, we gotta get reps.
Yeah, they ramped it up, and it did amazing. Carson Hinsman was still in the doghouse, whatever like I say, kennel, whatever it was he was in a year ago. I think he could be the wheel horse for this offensive line coming up in 2025. The way he played, he's back at center. Isn't it amazing what a difference a year makes?
Well, I think he obviously had to grow up a little bit, and whatever the comment was, I don't know why it was just that.
Yeah,
like it really wasn't that bad. I don't know why they acted.
Somebody
like
got butt hurt though,
it was ridiculous. But I'm glad that he's back on their good graces, and he's probably if not the best, one of the best offensive linemen they got right
Exactly.
now.
That's what I'm talking about. He's going to be their cornerstone, But I tell you what, I really like that Ethan Onyeonwa, man. He looks the part, right?
I mean, they say that guy's like a walking first-round pick.
He's not 6'1", whatever. He's legit 6'7", 6'8", DeJuan Jones lookalike. Speaking of that, we'll see how much weight Tyvis has lost by the next time we get together. But, ladies and gentlemen, for Tyvis Powell, this is Tim May. We've enjoyed being on the Buckeye Show here on 97.1 The Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me, you're home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ohio State National Champions. Celebrate the 9th National Championship in Ohio State history with an heirloom quality timepiece handcrafted by Oxia Time. Available in a broad range of styles and prices to appeal to that true Buckeye fan. If you want something extra special, check out the limited edition Ryan Day autographed box sets. These exclusive box sets won't be available long. Act fast and get yours before they are gone for good. All watches tell time. These tell the time of your life. Order yours today at AXIAtime.com.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining